Tiger Woods is on the brain, of course. It was nice to see the #1 Tiger. It seemed like the old Tiger was back, kind of. He's kind of retooled his game. But there was a bit of controversy, and there was a few issues that came to play. One, of course, on his second day, he was charging up through the standings. On 15, had that freak of a shot where it just hit the pin and then just went into the water. He ended up moving the ball a little forward, and when he finished up, when all was said and done, he went up to the officials. They signed the card, didn't have any issues. He signed his card, went on with his day. The following day, on Saturday, apparently a fan phoned in and was like, you know what, I think he may have moved it a little bit. So I have no idea how he got the number of the PGA, but I want to know if they could do that. I want the number of the NHL, because there's a few plays that I'm not a big fan of. Exactly. But I do want to ask you guys, there was issues that he could have been disqualified or should have been disqualified, but because he was Tiger, he wasn't. He ended up taking a 2-stroke penalty. Was that the right punishment, or should he have been just gone altogether?
He signed an illegal card, and if you look at the rule books, it simply states the player's disqualified. And you know, and that's a tough spot for the Masters, tough spot for the PGA going into the weekend, and you are disqualifying Tiger Woods. Are you kidding me? Is it a double standard? I don't know. I hate to say it is, but it kind of looks like it right now, because really any other golfer would look at it, you know, sorry, I apologize, I'll disqualify myself. Woods didn't.
Yeah, I disagree with you on that one. I think that the right call was made not to disqualify him. I have trouble with the person phoning in and the PGA Rules Committee and the rules officials looking at this. As Moses said, yeah, every night I watch an NHL game, I want to phone in because I think that, you know, there should have been a penalty, or why was this call made, or more importantly, not made. You know, I think they didn't notice it. Tiger didn't know the rule. That rule 33-7, which I don't even know those rules down, but of course now you know that rule because it's been out there. I personally think the right call was made. I think you know, the 2-stroke penalty. He did sign the card, but he signed the card before the entire controversy happened, and that's. I'm going to take Tiger's side on this one.
And the benefit of the doubt, the officials, the Masters officials, signed it saying, you know what, there was nothing wrong.
Absolutely.
Even though he said he did move it forward and that was a no-no, he said, all right, for that, I will take the 2-stroke penalty. But just because of their incompetence in that particular state, in that, for example, Tiger Woods should not be punished by being disqualified.
Everybody's kind of defaulted for this. The officials at Masters, the PGA officials, Woods as well. Here's a conspiracy theory. Who phoned it in? Maybe it was his ex-wife's lawyer.
Hey, they're trying to get. Well, I don't know. Is he still paying alimony? Because if he is, I think you want him to win. At least it's more money.
She would want the money.
Exactly.
Sure,
well, you know what? More controversy from the Masters. Guan, a phenomenal 14-year-old from China, who made the cut, just barely squeaking through because of another Masters official said that he was over his 40-second limit to take his shot. Now, a couple other golfers were tweeting and saying, you know what, there are many pros, not just amateurs, but pros who take forever to get their shot. And I feel that Guan was unfairly picked on because maybe, I don't know if you were a conspiracy theorist saying some of these rules officials are sticklers and maybe want their 15 minutes of fame too. Mm-hmm. But do you feel that Guan was unfairly punished? And this also, by the way, happened on Saturday too. He wasn't given a 1-stroke penalty, but he was given another warning.
He was given a warning. I think he was unfairly picked on. I mean, you can stand up and watch Sergio Garcia. He definitely takes more than 40 seconds.
There's a few of them.
I mean, there's quite a few, but I mean, Sergio stands out in my mind. Do they ever go over to Sergio and say, you better speed it up? I don't think so, or at least you don't hear about it. You know, they made this a big deal. I think there was a bit of weight pushing going on by the rules official that said, hey, we're going to make a little example. Some of these guys don't like these young amateurs coming in and taking the spotlight away from some of the big dogs and some of the big guns. I think he was unfairly picked on.
Yeah, you know what, he was, but I love the way the kid handled it. The kid did an interview afterwards. It was way mature beyond his years, and and said, yeah, you know what, I'll watch it, and he was very professional about it, and hats off to him for that.
He'll be fun to watch in a few years' time once he gets older and
Absolutely.
becomes a professional. Are you impressed by Guan? Not so much what he's done off it in terms of the charisma and how he handled the whole situation, but the way he played. He was only 3 strokes behind Phil Mickelson at the end of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think he's a phenomenal kid. He's, you know, every once in a while you have these phenoms like Tiger was when Tiger was a kid. He's definitely another phenom. I mean, I can only dream to golf like that. If I can even golf a 10th of that, I would feel pretty good. I just think, you know, as Greg mentioned, his composure off the course, but on the course, I mean, he's calm. You look, he's not like a 14-year-old kid out there, you would think, making a great shot and, you know, jumping into the stands or something. He's very professional already at 14. The kid just impresses the heck out of me.
I know when I was 14, I was golfing. I was nothing like skill like that, maturity-wise. No, not even close. But you look at what the future holds for him, and more than anything, what this is doing for golf in China. Like, it's lights out there.
Now it's going to be big for them, especially with the PGA wanting to grow the sport. China would be one country where you want to do it for sure. I want to get to the NHL. I want to ask you guys your front runners for the NHL awards. Of course, talking about top D-man, point getter. Of course, when you think of those two notions, you think of PK Subban and of Sidney Crosby. Is there anybody else that comes to mind, even for the Calder? Your suggestions that you feel that should be noticed?
Calder's kind of a tough one. I like Gallagher in Montreal. You know, he's looked very good. He's had some timely goals for them. He's a good all-around player.
Yeah, Gallagher was my pick. I was going to take a shot at Kirk Price because I'm not a Habs fan, and it kills me to say a Montreal Canadian would be in the running. But I do think Gallagher. But I also like Conacher too. I like Conacher's composure on the ice, and he's a grit hockey player. Comes from a hockey family. He knows the game well. Plays up to the fans a little bit, and I like that cockiness in the kid. I think Conacher's another kid that could be there too.
And for the Hart?
Well, you know, even though Sid's been out of the lineup for quite some time, you like what he adds. Even PK, you know, I hate Montreal too, but PK as a Hart Trophy nominee too, because he has meant so much to that hockey club going forward, and what he has added to them this season has been unmeasurable.
Yeah, I'm a Sidney Crosby was my pick on that one on the Hart as well, even though with the injury. I mean, he was just incredible this year. He was on fire. He was in good shape. He was playing the game so smart. I mean, it was an unfortunate accident that happened, but I still think he's the front runner. I think he'll win the Hart.
And then you got to remember Chicago too. You could pick 3 or 4 guys off Chicago.
Kane, Taves,
yeah, Kane, Taves, you name it. They're so deep, and then there's not one player from Chicago that you say,
and they could, and you know what, they could do it every which way. And I want to get to this very quickly. If there's one team that you could name both in the East and West that's not in the playoffs now, but could sneak in, who would it be?
For me, for the East, I think it's set. I don't think there's anyone on the outside. I think Winnipeg was kind of close, but I think they've fallen off the mark. So I think the Rangers, Islanders are going to be in there where you see it. In the West, you know, I know Detroit was just out of it. I know they're back in it in 8th after last night. I think it's fairly set, although Phoenix might be the dark horse there.
If Mike Smith, you know, picks up his game for Phoenix, and he's the reason why they did what they did in last year's playoffs. If he picks it up for Phoenix, and watch out for them. Detroit, it's a bit of a rebuilding right now in Detroit. It'd be interesting to see if they can kind of get some wins together here.
East?
In the East, yeah, I wanted to see Winnipeg get in there. Love to see them, but it's a long shot at best now.
All right, we're going to take another quick commercial break, but we have Over Under next.